Hi, I'm Ed Hubs. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Like I said, behind me is a 1941 Packard Dash glove boxes. I'm not sure what this one is, but they go in these panels. And then these strips here are for a luggage rack. This is going to go one color of wood grain. This is going to go another color of wood grain, actually going to be darker. The customer brought them to me, already prepped, sanded, primered. They're ready to go. I'm going to put sealer on them, put a base on them, and then do the woodworking on them. I'm going to charge $600 to do all this. It's a little low, should have been closer to $800, but again, he's a repeat customer and I do a lot of work for him. Well, let's go get them laid out and sealed. Hey guys, well, we've already painted these and cleared them, and the reason I did that is because it's several days later and I don't like to leave the base coat laid open. I like to have a solid foundation on it. So the other reason I do the clear on top of it when I do my first base coat color is I'll drag brushes through it, and I don't want to go through the brown colors and into the primers or the sealers. So I put a solid base on it. You don't have to do that. It's just a technique I do. But we got the two colors going. I'm going to pull up my pictures that he wants me to use for reference for the Packard. And let's get started. Just to knock down any little debris in them. Dirt nibs, whatever. Well, I debated about showing you this in my video, but I show all my mistakes, and I guarantee you, you're going to make them too. The owner brought in a color. He showed me a picture of what he wanted, and I had in my head what I was going to do. Then he brought in another picture afterwards showing me that he wanted it darker than what the original picture was, and so that's why I painted him this color. As you can see in the background, I did a whole bunch of stuff. I was just going to cover it over and start a new video and tell you that I did it from that start, from the start of that. But that's not what I did. I did this, then I used the tans and stuff to make the colors that he wanted. When it was said and done, I'm sorry, but I did not like it. So I wiped everything back off. I'm now going to take another color and start back over. We got this wheat color. This is a tan color that's in the back, like a buckskin, and that's what I was going to use. Well, it's too washed out. So I'm going to use a color that has a little bit more yellow and a little bit more gold to it. So it's almost like a wheat color, and it's really bright. And that's what we're going to start with. But yeah, I wiped everything off and started over. I was not happy. Started using a sponge. The brush was just kind of going over the edges and wasn't getting the effect I want. But I just drag a brush like that a sponge like that right there. That's what I'm doing on this now. As you can see on my palette right here, right there, I got brown and dark brown mixed together, and I'm going to drag my brush or my sponge halfway through one color and halfway through the other color. I'll show you what that does. Alright, so we got half and half. And I'll start right here. You can see it's all the way on one side. I want to get it a little bit in the middle. Now we'll get a couple of the tighter ones. You really see that taking shape. I'll show you over here on a spot that's already dry. I'll kind of skip it. And it's just like the technique called dry brush. This is dry sponge, I guess you'd call it. See how I make one grain, not vein, darker? That's by pushing harder. And like I say, if you want to create a knot or something, you can twist it. That's ugly, right? Well, watch what it does. Using a darker color coming out of it. And of course I don't have enough. Coming out. Hold on. Hang tight, guys. Alright, now we got the Q-tip. This is the darker color. This is where we're creating a knot. So you can see a little better what I'm doing. I'm going to do it on the flat surface instead of these strips. Taking my sponge, this is the sponge I'm using, and I'm dragging through color like that. You can create a different grain effect by twisting it. And then taking the sponge, rolling it over to the other side, to this side here, doing the tan. And I'll skip that back through. Kind of blends them together. Over here, this is dry, that's wet. So I'll show you the difference. So if I drag the tan back through versus dragging it through where it's wet, kind of blends it together a little bit. So now I'll turn it back to the brown and lightly drag it through. And that's how I'm getting the pattern. Then, like I was showing you a minute ago, you can take your Q-tip, create larger veins, and blend them together. If I wanted to take a different color, like a darker brown, I want a streak through it. Works better when each panel, like I'll work from one over to here, and then I'll go back to the one that's dry, and I use that so it doesn't blend in so much. Apply a little bit more over here so you can see. Didn't realize the camera wasn't completely on the spot I was showing, but this is the darker color. And we'll fan it out a little bit and bring it through and drag it. You can do the same thing with the tan. Come back into it, blend them together a little bit. Now we'll take the brown mixture, which is like a chocolate brown. We'll dab it in and skip it. Then I'll show you the sponge with a darker color, which I was creating a knot there and you didn't get to see it, so let's do it again here. Drag it. Well, I'm not getting enough of it. Sounds like I can hear cars behind me. I'm in an industrial area, so I got cars going in and out, people working. So, apologize about that. Now we'll get it really dark right here at the bottom and drag it. Now you can go back in with your brown. You can keep going back and forth if you want. So dab it right on the edges and drag it too. And one last technique. I'll get a fresh Q-tip. And I'm going to use the tan color. And I'm going to really saturate it right here, right above the knot, and then drag it. Same here. Now I'll turn the Q-tip over, use the brown. Right above here, I'll put a little streak through it. That's about it. Wow. I went on the other one. Let's do this one too. Man, I'm tired. Alright, here we go again over here. That one looks good. Go back to the one we're actually working on. And then blend the brown back in. You guys have to excuse me, I've been putting some hours in. There you go, how's that? Gotta show you on both of them that time. Well, that wraps this up. What a struggle. These are not flat, as you can tell how round they are. So when you're doing this, like if you have to do something similar to what I'm doing, the grain needed to go straight up and down, a little bit to the side, not much. There's not a lot of detail into it, but what happens is when you're dragging a brush across it or airbrushing it, it comes up over this hump, and then you gotta connect it to the side. When it's flat, you can just brush it in and it's done. So this was a real challenging project, but we got it done. Hopefully the customer's gonna like it. If not, we'll be doing it again. Nah, we got it.